Namaskar, this is Mrs. Neela Kalyan Jagdade and today we will be discussing the concept of closure, yes, especially when we are talking about singly plunging anticlines and which are cut by a fault, yes. So it's because all of us know so far that singly plunging anticline does not have any structural closure by itself, but however, whenever it is cut by a fault at the crest or the nose of the singly plunging anticline, what happens is it is likely to give rise to closure provided the fault is impermeable. Yes, because if it is impermeable, it is not going to allow the oil and gas to move to the other side. It is going to lead to entrapment of hydrocarbons in that particular structure, which is nothing but a singly plunging anticline. Yes. So here we want to understand first what is a singly plunging anticline. If you've seen my previous videos, you guys already know what a singly plunging anticline is. But here we go again. Okay. This is an anticlinal fold. Yes. These are the limbs of the fold and this is the axis of the fold. Now what we are going to do is we should be knowing what is a singly plunging anticline. Singly plunging anticline is when the axis is plunging only on one side. When the axis is just making an angle with the horizontal. Yes, on one side. That is why singly. Had it been the case where both the sides of the axis are bending, doubly plunging anticline. Doubly plunging anticline structurally has very good closure. This kind of structure is very good, for the entrapment of hydrocarbons. However, we are talking about singly plunging anticline which does not have any structural closure but which when cut by a fault at the nose of the singly plunging anticline, and if the fault is impermeable, it will lead to entrapment of hydrocarbons in this area. Okay, see, imagine this. I always show this in 3D. This is straight. This is bending. Yes. So whatever hydrocarbons are, let me just hold it like this. Yeah. So this is better. This appears to be straight, right? Yeah. Now towards my right hand side, axis is straight, while on my left hand side the axis is bending. Yeah. So what is happening? The hydrocarbons coming from the down dip area will come and they will get entrapped here, provided the fault which is cutting through here. See this place, the fault which is cutting through this place. Yes, here is leading to it is impermeable and it leads to entrapment of hydrocarbons thereby in the structure which is a singly plunging anticline. Yes, and we are going to understand now two things here. Singly plunging anticline where the fault block, yes, the upthrown block is in the down dip direction and the downthrown block is in the down dip direction. There are two cases. Number one, upthrown block being in the down dip direction, again I am repeating, and the downthrown block being in the down dip direction, both of which are in the down dip direction. Number one, first we will discuss when the upthrown block is in the down dip direction. Yes, before we understand anything else, we will just understand one thing, that anything has whenever we are talking about structural geology, we talk about strike and dip, which is very important for us to understand, and I have explained it in my previous videos. All of you must be knowing by now. If not, just go back and please listen to them. So here we are. This is nothing but regional strike and dip. Regional strike and dip direction. Yes, and having drawn this, we just because we are drawing or speaking about structural, we are going to mark north. Yes, so if we have north, which side is the regional dip? It is towards east. Yes, and the strike is north south. The regional dip is towards east. See, now understand one thing. When I am talking about regional strike and dip, I am mentioning or speaking basically about what are regional structures. Yes, regional structures are the structures which cover vast area which spread over about thousands of square kilometers. Yes, there are local structures as well which cover an area of about say few meters or say a few hundreds of square kilometers kind of. Yeah, that is what is local structures. Local structures, if you are having an aerial view, say for example, if you are flying in an aircraft or an airplane or a chopper, something like that, local structure may be visible, while on the other hand, regional structure not possible to see them even on aerial view. Satellite images also not that likely will be showing regional structures to frankly speaking, because they are regional, yes, but they are spread over such an area that they don't actually look like a structure. So only a solution there is to go out there in the field, do a lot of field work, extensive field work has to be done, finding out strike, dip, break, bearing, plunge, all these things, yes. collecting all the data together, putting it together, and then finally making a map where we get to know, yeah, there's a regional structure, say regional anticline or anticlinorian, yes, and things like that. Alright, so this was just to explain to you what is regional structure and what is local structure. And now coming back to regional strike and dip. Now that we are talking about regional strike and dip, the reason why we are talking about this is basically because we want to understand the impact of the fault when the upthrown block is in the down dip direction. Yes, in order to understand that, just understand this concept here first. This is the fault, yes. This is incline, it is an inclined fault. This is a vertical fault. We are speaking about inclined fault where the upthrown block, seeing this, where the upthrown block is in the down dip direction. I am just synchronizing this with the data on the board behind. Yeah, the data on the board behind, the dip is towards, the regional dip is towards east. Thereby, I am also showing this that the upthrown block is in the down dip direction. Yes, and the inclination of the fault is also towards east. Alright, having said this, please understand one thing. We are talking about singly plunging anticline. The structure is there to be shown in 3D. I have shown it with the paper, but just the further part that we are going to talk about, we are going to speak about closure. Again, I am going to show that in 3D again, alright, because I like to explain in 3D more whenever we are talking about structure. It is more clear that way. Yeah. So here we go. Again, first thing, understand one thing. What are we discussing? We are discussing about what is closure, yes, of a singly plunging anticline when we have the upthrown block in the down dip region. Yes, alright. Having said this, moving ahead rather, I will say. Yeah, so this is an anticlinal structure. Yes, please understand one thing. But let us refer to this as the singly plunging anticline, which was just the other part of this paper. For example, just for you to better understand this, understand one thing. This is looking at like it is a anticlinal fold, but for now just understand this. This fold resembles what part? See, this is the fold. Yes, this is the fold, but this book resembles only this part, only this half part. Only this half part. This book resembles just this part. Getting me? Only this part which is plunging. Yes. So this book is going to resemble what? It is going to resemble only this area. You are getting me? The plunging area I am talking about. The book is going to resemble only that part. Okay. So here we are going to speak about what? This is a singly plunging area. Okay. Anticline. This is a singly plunging anticline. Yes. And it is cut by a fault. And it is cut by a fault, and now this is a singly plunging anticline. Alright, and what is happening is we are going to have the upthrown block in the down dip region. Yes, I am synchronizing the data with the data on the board. That is, the dip is towards the east. Therefore, I am throwing the upthrown block in the upthrown block is also in the down dip region. I hope this is clear. The block which has been upthrown is in the down dip region, which means towards the east. Getting me? Yes. So when the upthrown block is in the down dip region and the fault is impermeable, yes, in that case what will happen is it will lead to entrapment of hydrocarbons. Yeah. See, now again there are two cases here. When the upthrown block is in the down dip direction, you have two cases. Case number one, okay, that is when there is partial sealing. Partial sealing means what? We are speaking about impermeable fault. Yes, so there are two cases again, partial sealing and complete sealing. So whenever we are talking about partial sealing, see this, the upthrown block is in the down dip direction, and partial sealing means what? Partial sealing means the area which is above this part, this area, which means this area is sealed. That is what is partial sealing. Yeah, so this fault, alright, for example, this is the rock, the lithology in this structure is a sandstone. Yes, this is the fault, and the lithology above this part is shale, and because this block has gone up, now the sandstone which is in this part, the reservoir rock, has come in contact with shale on the either side of the fault or the other side of the fault. Therefore, shale being impervious is acting like a seal, and the fault now is impermeable fault. Yeah. So what is happening is we are going to have upthrown block in the down dip direction and there is partial sealing. Yes. So in this case, the closure will completely depend only and only on the throw of the fault. Getting me? Why? Because shale, see, why? Because the entire lithology here, up till here and beyond, this is firstly sandstone, singly plunging anticline. But because it is faulted, the reservoir, that is, this has gone up. The sandstone has gone up, and the shale is has come in contact with sandstone in the other side of the fault. Therefore, what is happening is this entire area now is covered on this side of the fault. It is covered by shale. Therefore, this entire area inside this reservoir rock is existing where there is sandstone, and therefore hydrocarbons which are coming from the down dip area will come and they will get entrapped here inside. Yes, in this singly plunging anticline. Why? Because on the other side of the fault there is shale which is impervious. Getting me? Therefore, what is happening is this singly plunging anticline, because it is cut by a fault and the fault is impermeable, it has given rise to formation of closure where hydrocarbons are entrapped. And when you have upthrown block in the down dip direction, there are two cases. Case number 1, that is partial sealing. Case number 2, that is complete sealing. Partial sealing is what? Partial sealing is when only the throw of the fault will be equals to the closure. Why? Because only that much area which has been thrown up has been sealed. On the other hand, by what? By a seal which is a shale or any evaporite for that matter, you may say. Alright, it is come in contact with the impervious rock or evaporite deposits, and therefore this area, this is partial sealing. Yeah. Why? Because the entire thing was sandstone earlier, right? The entire lithology on this side also and this side also was sandstone. Now this has come down. Yeah. So only that area which is above has been covered by some impervious rock, but the area below is what again? Sandstone. The lithology below is what again? Below this notebook or the edge of this notebook, below this, what is the lithology? The lithology is nothing but reservoir rock again, which is sandstone. Yes. So now here what is happening is, because it is a reservoir rock, the area beyond this, below this, the hydrocarbons will escape and they will go up in the up dip direction. Why? Because hydrocarbons being lighter in weight, they will always tend to go up due to buoyancy. They will always tend to float up. Yes. Now, so this was partial sealing. Where partial sealing, whenever there is partial sealing, there the closure is equals to the throw of the fault. I hope this is clear by now. Yes, it is equals to the throw. How much ever is the throw, that much only is the closure in case of partial sealing. Why? Because it is sealed only up till where the throw of the fault exists. Only that area which has been thrown up is sealed. That is what is partial sealing. In this case, in partial sealing, the closure of the singly plunging anticline cut by a fault is equals to nothing but it is equals to only and only the throw of the fault. Yes. While on the other hand, case number 2, understand this. Case number 2, you have complete sealing. What is complete sealing? Complete sealing is when no matter what, how much ever is the throw, entire singly plunging area, this entire singly plunging structure is sealed. Getting me? This entire singly plunging structure is sealed. So how much ever is the throw, doesn't matter, entire structure is sealed. Therefore, in this case, what will happen is the closure will depend upon the structure. That means this is the highest point of the singly plunging anticline, this is the lowest point of the singly plunging anticline. The closure in case where there is complete sealing will completely depend upon the structure in the down dip region. The down dip region for us for now is towards the east. Check on the board. The north, if you know where the north is, you know where east is. So east, for you is towards my left hand side, and in that case what is happening is the closure will completely depend upon the structure in the down dip area, which means closure will be from this area, from the highest point to the lowest point. Getting me? To this lowest point. So from this point to this point, the fault is completely sealing, and here down entirely this triangular area inside, whatever is there, yes, will lead to entrapment of hydrocarbons, and that is the closure in case of complete sealing of fault when you have upthrown block in the down dip region. Getting me? Yes. So this was explained in 3D. Now let's move ahead to to contour maps. Let us just understand contour map for this. Alright. So what we do, is we'll just draw a contour map wherein we know what regional strike and dip is. Alright. Say this is a fault. Yeah, I can extend this area a little bit so that we draw better figure along good one. Yeah, so yeah, this is fault F1, or let us name this as F dash. Okay, F dash. This is the fault plane. Just write it here. Fault. Alright. Now, the structural contour map is such that you have contour lines, everyone knows, are nothing but lines showing points of equal elevation. On a geological map, they are shown as dotted lines. Yeah. So here we go. And for that, in case of singly plunging anticline or doubly plunging anticline, mainly they are elliptical. Yeah. So because this is singly plunging anticline, we just draw elliptical shape on a semi-pattern kind of view. Okay. So here we go. So we are going to draw. This is what is a singly plunging anticline, where this is the axis of the fold, this is the axis of fold, and the axis is plunging. Therefore, we draw symbols here for that of plunge. We draw symbols here for that of plunge, and strike and plunge for plunging anticline. Singly plunging anticline. Small symbols. This just resembles, this is a singly plunging anticline. It is plunging on the axis. Yes. And we are going to give them values now. Say for example, this is 900 meters. So 1000 meters. I'm talking about anticline. So we are going to have highest value the crest, and then the values go down. Yes, so here we go. 900 meters, 800 meters, 700 meters, 600 meters, 500 meters, 400 meters. Alright. This is one part of the fold contour map. Alright. The other part we see, or we will show, that the 900 meters contour has come in contact with, say 600 meters contour on this side. Yes, 600 meters contour. Then you just join this again. Alright. And this is, say 600, this is going to be 500 meters, 400 meters, like that. Alright. So here what is going to happen is, and this is faulted structure, so we are not going to talk much about this thing. Just understand one concept here, that is 600 meters contour has come in contact with 900 meters contour. Yes. On geological map, how do you find out throw of the fault? Is whatever contour lines come exactly in contact with one another, after being faulted, you just subtract the higher value from the lower value of the contour, the higher contour value with the lower contour value, and you get to know the throw of the fault. So here the higher contour value, which is exactly come in contact with the other contour line on the other side of the fault, is nothing but 900 on one side and the other is 600. See, understand one thing, and this is a fault, and you are having 900 coming in contact with 600 meters. You are having 800 coming in contact with 500 meters. You are having 700 on this side of the fault coming in contact with 400 on this side of the fault. Let's do this again. You are having 900 meters on this side of the fault towards the east, which is coming in contact with 600 meters on the other side of the fault. You have 800 meters which is coming in contact with 500 meters on the other side of the fault. You have 700 meters on this side which is coming in contact with 400 meters on the other side of the fault. Therefore, you come to a conclusion that this side of the fault has been upthrown. Getting me? This side of the fault is upthrown and this is downthrown block. So, you write it here. So, what we are going to do is we are going to write it here. This is upthrown block. Upthrown block. And this is downthrown block. So this is an upthrown block and downthrown block. I explained to you why. Now, having said this, 900 meters is coming directly in contact with 600 meters. And how do you calculate the throw of the fault and structure control map? Whenever two control lines are coming exactly in contact, or very much similarly coming in contact with one another on the either side of the fault, such that they are looking like one and the same control line, you just have to subtract the higher value from the lower value. You just have to subtract the lower value from the higher value, and you get to know what the throw of the fault is. Yes. So here we go. 900 meters is exactly coming in contact with 600 meters, and therefore we subtract 600 from 900. 600 minus 900. 900 minus 600 is what? It is nothing but 300 meters. Therefore, the throw of the fault is 300 meters here. What is the throw of the fault? The throw of fault is equals to 300 meters. Now, because the throw of the fault is 300 meters, first case what we talking about when the upthrown block is in the down tip direction, we have two scenarios. Scene number 1, that is partial sealing, and scene number 2, that is complete sealing. So when we are talking about scene number 1 or situation 1, that is when you have partial sealing, what we have is we get to know that the closure is equals to the throw of the fault. Yes. So do we know the throw of the fault? Have you calculated? Yes. How have you calculated? You have subtracted the contour value on the either side of the fault, which are coming exactly in contact with one another on the either side of the fault again. Yes. So what are the contour values here? 600 is exactly coming in contact with 900. 500 is exactly coming in contact with 800. So you just have to subtract the value. Say for example, 900 minus 600 is 300 meters. 800 minus 500 is 300 meters again. 700 minus 400 is 300 meters again. If we come to a conclusion, the throw of the fault is nothing but 300 meters. Now the throw of the fault is 300 meters. You have to draw what is the lower bound of the closed area, which is mostly shown by green. Yes, we show it in green color mostly. So you go down by 300 meters. Yes, that is in case of partial sealing. So this is 900 meters, right? So center point mainly what we write? We write this 950 meters. Yeah. So we are going to write this as 950 because somewhere above we are going to have value of 1000, but we don't know where exactly it exists. So the center point we just take it as 950. So you go down by 350 meters. 950 to 850, 850 to 750, 750 to 650. And you draw a contour line in between the two contours, that is 600 and 700. You draw a dashed dotted line. Yes. And this is going to be your lower boundary of the closed area for partial sealing. So you are going to write it here, you are going to label it here as lower boundary of closed area for partial sealing. Yes, I hope this is clear. This is lower boundary of the closed area for partial sealing. Then you have another situation wherein you have the complete sealing. This was partial sealing. The other situation is the fault is completely sealing the singly plunging anticline. In that case, the closure will completely depend upon what? It will depend upon the structure in the down dip region. So what is the structure here? The structure is ending at 600 meters here. You getting me? The structure is ending at 600 meters here. You see this? Beyond this, it is not actually a singly plunging. It is not that this thing as a singly plunging anticline. Though if it is for us across the fault, it is cutting only over here. Getting me? Across the fault, the lowest point is at 600 meters. Therefore, For complete ceiling, the lower boundary of the closed area will be 600 meters contour itself. So this will be the lower boundary of the closed area for complete ceiling, 600 meters. Lower boundary of closed area for complete ceiling. Yes. So for complete ceiling, because the structure, the contours here change their shape, and only contour which is exactly meeting the fault, cutting the fault, is 600. Last contour that is cutting the fault is 600 meters. Therefore, the structure ends here itself, and therefore the closure will be from 950 to 600 meters for complete ceiling. Yes. So for now, from 950 to 600 meters complete ceiling, the closure is, how much is the closure? It is nothing but 350 meters for complete ceiling, and 300 meters the lower boundary of the closed area we've already drawn. 300 meters closure for partial ceiling. So I hope you've understood this about this structure when we are talking about singly plunging anticline, when you have upthrown block in the down dip region. Yes, and you've understood the concept. So for now, and what we will do is we just draw one more vertical figure for, if you want, you guys can have a proper look at the figure where we have a fault cutting the nose of the singly plunging anticline. You have contour values given on the either side of the fault, which show or suggest that this block, yes, of the block on the right hand side of the fault has been thrown up, yes, or the block on the eastern side has been thrown up, and the western side, is down respectively. Therefore, we've written upthrown block and this is the downthrown block. And then we found out how much is the throw by seeing which contour is coming exactly in contact with one another on the either side of the fault. And just subtract the lower value from the higher value, and you get to know what is the throw of the fault. So you've calculated the throw of the fault, which is 300 meters. And after that, what we did is we have drawn the lower boundary of the closed area by doing what? We went to 950 meters, and from 950 meters we go down by 300 meters, and we've drawn the lower boundary of the closed area. Yes, you just not drawn it like that only. You've first calculated the throw, and then you've gone down and you've drawn it properly after having done your calculation. Yes, and then we know that on complete ceiling of the fault, the closure of a singly plunging anticline completely depends upon the structure in the down dip region, and the structure in the down dip region of the fault, the last contour that is coming in contact with the fault here is 600 meters. Therefore, the structure ends here for a singly plunging anticline, and therefore the closure is nothing but from 950 to 600 meters here, which is nothing but 350 meters for complete ceiling. Alright, so closure for complete ceiling is 350, and therefore the lower boundary of the closed area is going to be at 600 meters. And closure for partial ceiling is 300 meters, and the lower boundary of the closed area is going to be at 650 meters. Yeah. So I just write down 650 meters here, just for the sake of convenience, so that it is, this is at 650 meters. 600, 650, 700, 700, 750, 800, 800, 850, 900, 900, 950, and somewhere you have 1000. Yeah. This is how it goes. Yes. So this is it, and we'll just draw one more figure, that is vertical section. In vertical section, it is nothing but you have a fault, yes, and across the fault, see, you draw the contour lines. Highest value we knew was 950, so you draw the contour lines like this. Yeah, and you write that we give the values 900 meters, 800 meters, 700 meters, 600 meters, 500 meters, 400 meters. Yes, and we know that this is 900 meters, so I'm going to draw one more above, which is now 950, 1000. Somewhere you have 1000 meter also above. Yeah. So what we did is from 950 we have shown that the fault is cutting the crest. So from 950 to 650 and then 600, right? So we will just draw this first here like this, and we know that from 650 up till lower boundary the closed area, as I said, is to be given in dark. In between 600 and 700 you have 650 meters contour. So you draw vertical section here showing this is the lower boundary of the closed area, and you label here as lower boundary of closed area for partial ceiling. And then you have 600 meters structure, it ends here last. This is lower boundary of closed area for complete ceiling, yeah. And you just shade it. This is 950, so if you want you can write it as 950 meters here. From 950 entirely you can shade this region for oil and gas and water reservoir. So this is like oil kind of, yeah. So this is the vertical section, and this is the fault. For labeling it, you label this as fault. This is your fault. This is the singly plunging anticline. This is the reservoir rock. This is the triangular shape that I was showing you guys. Yes. So this is the vertical section for that what we were just now discussing. I think we'll stop here for now. Have a wonderful evening, and hope you understood the concept. Yeah. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.